Shabbat Shalom. Thank you all for being here in person and online. It's great to have you here, to have some new faces and some, of course, familiar ones. Today, I didn't say that. That's what you said. On a different note, today marks about just over 300 days since October 7th, since the war and since the hostages have been held captive. And we continue to need strength in these moments. And we are ending up the book of the Torah, the book of Numbers. And when we end a book, we say, Chazak, Chazak, Benit Hazek. We offer each other strength. And that's what I hope to do for you, and we can do for each other. And I wanted to share a story with you. There was a philosopher many years ago who was approached by a student who had just lost their parents. And the parents had died really young, and the student was also quite young. And it was a very tragic, sudden death. So the student asked the philosopher, "Why did my parents die? Can you tell me why they would die at this time and not later on in their lives?" And the philosopher looked at him and didn't say anything. He didn't have an answer. Instead, he just gave him a hug. That was the answer he gave. He gave him comfort instead of an answer that probably wouldn't suffice. And so in this difficult time, perhaps you're experiencing some mourning, or you're thinking about those in Israel, or any other difficulty that you might be thinking of. I encourage you to, if you can, find someone in the room to give a hug to. We'll just take a moment for that. Share some comfort. I'm glad we can have that moment of comfort together. We're going to start on page 10 with Hine Matov. How wonderful it is that we are here together. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet ahim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet ahim gam yachad. Shevet ahim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov. Shevet ahim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim. Shevet ahim gam yachad. On page 8. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services. But I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator: to love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the worlds God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. These two candles stand together, but they are still apart. Even in their togetherness, there is an open space between them. Your love for each other will keep these two lights together. Your respect for the individuality of the other will keep an open space between them. Strive throughout your lives both to stand together and still to maintain an openness that will enable you to appreciate the distinctive glow of your respective personalities. We light our Shabbat candles on page 2. Thank you, Rabbi Altshuler. you. If you're able to take a couple of deep breaths, try to relax in this moment. If you have your arms crossed, your legs crossed, I encourage you to uncross them and try to close your eyes if you feel comfortable. I offer you this meditation. As we transition from the hectic demands of life and our daily routines, we are invited to leave the week behind, to let go of what has been, let go of what will be, and enter a place of stillness, a sacred space and time. As the sun begins to set, breathe in the glow of the sunset and pause. And breathe out the stresses of the week. Breathe in the calm of nightfall and pause. And breathe out all thoughts of doing and become one with this present moment. Feel the warmth of relaxation wash over you. Breathe in the calm and pause, and feel yourself surrender. Breathe out everything and focus only on now, and feel your body, mind, and soul become whole and at peace. Now we are finally ready to savor all that Shabbat provides and become enveloped by holiness. As we breathe in and out once more, we pause and welcome the Shabbat bride. Continue on page 20. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, U'shem hatiferet. Please be seated. Listen to the Bird by Laia Firestone Sagi. Listen to the bird flying, singing, signaling with sound or song. A small signal starts circulation on the desert of the soul. The wagons have been dismembered, wheels rolled into sand, bones unburied. What was once owned, strewn about, no longer part of household or home. Dried wood looks bleached in the sun. Traveling from one heart to another, after many miles of silence, a sound. And there are no words to leap like birds with messages of how the world turns. What is the sound? Simple beyond recognition. It persists like water hitting the stone, and wherever the sound rings, the shape of the land takes form. We continue on page 24, welcoming in the angels of Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharit, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu. Bohem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitzchem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 27. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divrach yirotei v'yamlich malchutei. Behayachon u'yom echon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, ubizman kari, ve'imru. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach, le'olam ulam me'omaya, yitzbarach, yitzbarach, ve'yishtabach, ve'yitbar, ve'yitramam, ve'yitnaseh, ve'yitadar, ve'yitaleh, ve'yitalal, Shemei Dekudesha, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, talmiran be'alma, ve'imru, amen. Page 28, we rise for our call to worship, the Baruchu. Baruchu et Adonai, Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai, Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, Behochma poteach she'arim, uvitzvuna meshane itim, umechalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, b'mish merotehem berakira kirtsono, borei yom v'layla, goel or mipnei hoshech, behoshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil bein yom uvein layla, Adonai Tzivaot Shemo, El Chai v'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 33. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch Atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema. Seated on page 36. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadevarim ha'ele asher anohi mitzavecha hayom Shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'aderech uv'shofbecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu le'totafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam Amezuzot beitecha uvisharecha Leiman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kadoshim Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etem me'eretz Mitzrayim Lihiot lahem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. When people come to you for help, do not turn them off with pious words saying, "Have faith and take your troubles to God." Act instead as if there were no God, as though there were only one person in all the world who could help. Only yourself. Page 42. We ask for peace and for rest. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Continue in the English. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol yama Israel, ba'al Yerushalayim. The path is so lovely, said the boy. The path is so hard, said the lad. The path is so long, said the man. The grandfather sat on the side of the path to rest. Sunset paints his gray head gold and red. The grass glows at his feet in the evening dew. Above him, the day's last bird sings. Will you remember how lovely, how hard, how long was the path? You said day chases day, and night chases night. In your heart you said, now the time has come. You see evenings and mornings visit your window, and you say there is nothing new under the sun. Now with the days you have whitened and aged, and your days numbered and tenfold dearer, and you know every day is the last under the sun, and you know every day is new under the sun. Leah Goldberg. Continue on page 46. Please rise for our standing prayer, the Amidah. Adonai sefatai tiftahu fi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, V'zocher Hasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, Le'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Be'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Yaakov Atarav Le'oshia, Morid Hatal, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Ve'ofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umidom Melach, Melech Memit, Umechayem, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shim hakadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el Page 53. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see, wherever we gaze, that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, "How filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it." Blessed is the Eternal One, the Holy God. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Page 55, below the line. The meaning of Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week we live under the tyranny of things in space. On Shabbat, we try to become attuned to the holiness of time. It is a day on which we are called upon to share in what is eternal in time, to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creation to the creation of the world. We join together on page 60 with a prayer for peace. Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon levo hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon levo hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'to'u beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. We take time for silent prayer and internal reflection. Yehiyu leratzon imrefi v'hegyon libi lefanecha. Adonai tzuri, Adonai offer a prayer for Israel, a prayer of peace. May you be a light unto the nations, O Israel, shining across the universe. We rejoice in Israel's beauty. Red mountains watch over lush fields. Ancient temple walls echo the prayers of countless generations. We praise Israel's commitment to all who seek refuge. In the land of our ancestors, with joy and compassion, Israel welcomes the stranger. We remember the brave souls who built our homeland. Their toil may the desert bloom and cities rise, just as Joshua and his flock labored in that holy land. Our people continue to struggle, keeping Israel strong. We thank God for the land of Israel, a precious gift, and we pray for God's blessing of peace, a precious gift. We offer healing to those in our community, to those in our families. B'nai Israel is thinking of Leah bat Sima, Michal bat Leah, Leba Elka bat Shia, Michael Golob, Brad Hummel, Harriet Stone, Benjamin Shimon ben Gittel, Rosalind Meyer, Yehoshua Naphtali ben Chana, Ehud ben Gila, Rivka bat Ita, Yosef ben Ita, Yitzhak ben Ita, Eliyahu ben Firman Ruchel, Cindy Victor, Yehudit bat Hanana, Rivka Chaya bat Devora, Ita bat Devora, Zissel Kayla bat Peraliba, Michal Aharona bat Dina Fega, Steve Harrison, Naomi Chava bat Ma'ayan, Andy Bider, Marlene Margolis, Mark Siegel, Julie Solomon, Margaret Leduc, Razel bat Yehudis, Eliyahu ben Chava and Asher, Harav Yisrael Hirsch ben Yafa, David ben Sipora, Holea bat Rachelea, Robin Price, Mark Schuster, and Clint Willis. And the Temple Kolami community is thinking of Annie, Steve Bloom, Linda Bloom, Adam Brook, Joe Crane, Robert Feinstein, Roberta Feinstein, Tracy Ford, Vito Gold, Ellen Heckler, Johanna Kitchell, Carol Abinovitz, Sue Rollinger, Mickey Rosner, Marcia Silverman, Joanna Vilmier, Mark Wilner, Dan Zimmerman, and Judy Zimmerman. If you have any names to add or correct, I encourage you to do so. Misha Barak is on page 253, our prayer of healing. Misha Barak Avoteinu Mikor HaBracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. May we all find healing. since COVID started many years ago, I set aside a couple minutes each night to write down things I'm grateful for. And sometimes it's very mundane. For example, yesterday it didn't rain, or today I remembered to brush my teeth twice a day. It's something I'm working on. Sometimes it's more exciting, like I'm grateful that I got to spend the day by Lake St. Clair and go kayaking, or that I've officially been here for a year at Kol Ami. In this journal, I can see each day from the past years. It's a record for me. I look back at the days, and I often have no idea what I was referring to on that day, but I know that I had something to be grateful for in that moment. And this is helpful in difficult times. This practice became popular during COVID as a way to get through the pandemic and find things that are good from it in a time when things were so hard. And now things are a bit better, and there are still things that are hard aside from COVID. Now there are challenges in Israel and the Middle East. Judaism and our practices can sometimes feel compromised and threatened. And maybe because of that, we've realized which rituals are the most important or which ones carry the most weight for us. Perhaps we've begun to do a gratitude practice within Judaism in a different way than before. Doing a gratitude practice helps us remember the journey from a starting point to an ending point, or from a certain point to a point where things changed. In our Torah portion, the end of the book of Numbers, we see the journey from Egypt to the Promised Land reviewed in very precise detail. While it's a review of Israel's travels in the wilderness, it turns to the future and outlines how Israel will function in a land of its own. 40 verses make up the 40 years traveled in the wilderness, recalling the 42 stops along the way. Medieval commentator Rashi points out that 14 of them were stopping points in the first year of their wanderings, and 8 more are visited in the final year. During the whole of the intervening 38 years, they made 20 journeys. It is written, Moses wrote their goings forth, stage by stage, by the commandment of God. Why make a review of their travels? Why is it important to recall their stops? On first glance, you might think to yourself, what started out as a year's march from point A to point B ended up taking so long from one random place to another, not making any progress toward the ultimate goal. And this journey could have actually taken them 3 days instead of 40 years. So why remember this haphazard journey and all of its randomness? There are several answers offered to us. First, the Baal Shem Tov argued that forgetting is the true exile. We are a people of memory, honoring others, places, and events throughout each holiday and service that we engage in. If we forget, we lost part of our identity, people, and history. Second, Rashi's super commentary, Be'er Yitzhak, says, the short listing of the stages of their wanderings was designed as reading material for them after they settled down in their homeland. Each stage that they noted in their reading would enable them to recall what had befallen them at that place. They accordingly take to heart that kindness shown to them by God and the sufferings they endured for their disobedience, so that in the future they would act correctly and not sin. Each stage offered them a lesson for the future to help grow together and continually improve, carrying out God's commandments as directed. And third, Maimonides, Guide of the Perplexed, argues, it was indeed most necessary that these should be recorded, for miracles are only convincing to those who witness them. Coming generations who knew them only at second hand may consider them to be figments of the imagination. In order to remove all these doubts and to establish firmly the accuracy of the account of these miracles, the Torah enumerates all of the stations so that coming generations may see them and learn the greatness of the miracle which enabled human beings to live in these places for 40 years. And so we are commanded to remember how we got here and all the miracles that took place. In our modern age, we can take these explanations to heart. Perhaps there are days where you wish you could just forget this past year or that certain day. While this is very tempting to leave behind all the difficulties and sadness of this year, there are some silver linings and things we should keep. Perhaps you can ask yourself, what are you grateful for? Find things to take with you, to build on for the future. The notion of not taking others or our Judaism for granted, for example, is a lesson we should never forget. The difficulty of entering a new phase of life and getting through its challenges, starting a new job and learning its complexities and developing new skills in the process. We can be grateful for the realization of the beauty and miracles of nature and its changes in the seasons that we witnessed. If nothing else is remembered or taken from this year, we can take to heart that we learned how to find beauty in ourselves and in Judaism. In our portion it is written, "But if you do not dispossess the inhabitants of the land, those whom you allow to remain shall be stings in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and they shall harass you in the land which you live, so that I will do to you what I planned to do to them." These sobering verses call on the Israelites to destroy all the inhabitants of the Promised Land, and if not, God would destroy the Israelites. The rationale for this destruction is the danger that their presence would get in the way of the Israelites' future. I disagree with this notion. I believe we can learn from things that get in our way. As Rabbi Alvin Fine, a rabbi of the 20th century, wrote in his poem, "Life is a Journey," we go from defeat to defeat to defeat until we realize that life is not some high point along the way, but in making the journey, stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Each defeat, failure, and setback makes us stronger and has made us the community we are today. We cannot forget this year of difficulty because it brought us together again. As I continue to settle in as your rabbi, we need to remember the hardships and how we move forward together, how we remained flexible as issues arose and our community evolved. The Book of Numbers sets the stage for processes of change, just like in our community, and we are primed for more change as the new year approaches. I hope many of you will look back on this year fondly as one of great learning. Find things to take with you as you move forward, and use this time to reflect on what we have accomplished as a community. Our accomplishments are the results of our defeats, and they are worth remembering. As we say when we end a book of the Torah, Hazak, Hazak, V'nit Hazek, may we continue to strengthen one another in our gratitude and in our remembering. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to turn to the Aleinu. Please rise if you're able to, page 282. Page 290. Why should I wish to see God better than this day? I see something of God in each hour of the 24, and each moment then, In the faces of men and women, I see God, and in my own face in the glass. I find letters from God dropped in the street, and every one is signed by God's name. And I leave them where they are, for I know that wheresoever I go, others will punctually come forever and ever. We think of those who have passed away in the community of B'nai Israel. We're remembering Abraham Newschultz, Esther Dworin, Ruth Chudakoff, Molly Haar, Milton Billy Graub, Richard Menzer, Jacob Meyer Mathis, and Herman Stark. And we remember those who have passed away in recent days and weeks in the Kolami community. We're remembering Carol DeVore, Donna Newmeyer, and Gary Person. And we think of those who have passed away in this season in years past. We're remembering Gerald M. Averin, Bernard Sony Boren, Philip Saul Chapnick, Margaret Peggy Cohen, Sally Einhorn, David Fuller, Beverly Geeler, Andrew Golden, Seymour C. Gordon, Louis Holler, Martha Averin Hecken, Louis Immerman, Alfred Kahn, Francis Conkey, Lillian Lieb, Irving Levine, Miriam K. Max, Albert Mogul, Margaret Nagel, Benjamin Needleman, Seymour Osher, Eddie Person, George Schuster, Naomi Tendeler, Lloyd Wheel, and Morris Zucker. If you have any names to add or correct, I encourage you to do so.
Stanley Collin.
We rise in solidarity for the mourners Kaddish, page 294. Yitz Gadal v'yitz Kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma Divrah Yirtei V'yamlich Malchutei B'hayachon Uvyomechon Uvchaye Techol Beit Yisrael B'galav Yisvan Kariv V'imru Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mivarach Le'olam Olmei Omaya Yitzbarach V'yishabach V'yitpa'ar V'yithromam V'yitnaseh V'yitzhadar, v'yitzhaleh, v'yitzhalal, shemei d'kudashah, le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbehata v'nechemata, dalmiran be'alma v'imru, yahei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, oseh shalom b'imrumav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru. Please be seated. May their memory be a blessing. We have some announcements offered by Sharon. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us this evening. I want to especially thank Amy and Donna for ushering and Sarah for doing our streaming. Tomorrow at 11:30 a.m., please join Rabbi Shribman for a prayer walk at the Orchard Lake Nature Sanctuary. It's at 4700 Pontiac Trail Road. This is in lieu of services at TKA. Yahrzeit names will be read, but there will be no streaming on this morning service. Please carpool if at all possible. Join the TKA Relay for Life team on Sunday, August 11th at the Detroit Zoo. Gates open at 7 a.m. and the event ends at noon. All proceeds go to the American Cancer Society. Join the TKA Sisterhood for a casual pop-up dinner on Monday, August 12th at 5 p.m. at 4th Tavern Lake House. 4th Tavern is at 4710 Cooley Lake Road. It's at the corner of Elizabeth Lake Road in Waterford Township. Everyone covers their own check and everyone is welcome. Please RSVP to the TKA Sisterhood MI at gmail.com by August 9th. The next meeting of our current events group will be on Tuesday, August 13th at 3 p.m. Please note that this is a new time for the bi-weekly event, which is now at 3 p.m. The TKA Brotherhood invites you all to a Tigers game. Join us on Sunday, September 1st at 1:40 for the Detroit versus the Boston Red Sox. This is also the Jewish Heritage Night at Comerica Park. Tickets are $30 per person and includes a Jewish-themed baseball cap. Please register with the TKA office by August 6th to reserve a ticket within our group. If you have any questions about any of the above events or would like to RSVP, please contact the office. Wishing everyone Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sharon. Kiddush and Motzi is on page 5. Our closing song for the evening is Hine Matov, page 10. How wonderful it is that we're here together. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet ahim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet ahim gam yachad. Shevet ahim gam yachad, hine matov. Shevet ahim gam yachad, hine matov u'manayim. Shevet ahim gam yachad, hine matov u'manayim. Shevet ahim gam yachad. May you feel whole, knowing you are enough. May you feel confident, knowing you are prepared. May you feel calm, knowing the storm will pass. And may you feel at peace, knowing you are loved. Shabbat Shalom. We thank B'nai Israel for the lovely oneg. It's in the lobby. Please feel free to join us.